In The Good Half, starring Nick Jonas and Alexandra Shipp among many, we watch a young man romance a woman while he and his family are mourning the death of his mother. So to summarize the film, Lily Whelan, who was Ren and Lee's mother, just died. Naturally, natural causes. And as you would imagine, neither one are really able to process this, including Lily's first husband, father of her kids, Darren. However, to add on to the struggle of losing Lily, there is her second husband, Rick, who is a real piece of work. But luckily for Ren, while on his way home to Cleveland, he runs into Zoe, and there's a mutual interest there. She's a therapist, which he's in desperate need of, and while she doesn't use her degree on him in any sort of way, like psychoanalyze him and like really push him to confront his issues with his mom, or lack thereof, there is this sort of escape from his grief there, and she also gives him the space to embrace it that allows for you to get this dual exploration of what it's like to lose a parent while meeting somebody who gives you both the space to open up about it, but also doesn't demand it of you. So get into the review portion. To start off, I have to note, when it comes to Ren, Nick Jonas, the focus with him is much better when it's on his interactions with Zoe as a love interest than it has anything to do with his character mourning their mom passing. And that's because I feel like Nick Jonas, as an actor, he's still very much more geared toward being a heartthrob or love interest than he is being a dramatic actor who you take seriously in a role like this. And this isn't to say there aren't moments when he gets to try to have moving scenes, but it seems that the film knew where Nick Jonas could shine, so it focused on that and gave him the opportunity to say, yeah, I could do a little bit more than this, just so you know. With that said, Brittany Snow is able to take on that weight that you expect from this film, because with her character Lee, she didn't really have all these warm and fuzzy moments with Lily growing up. Pretty much the way it's painted, Lee was collateral damage when Lily and Darren divorced, and because Lee is so much like Darren, that made it so Ren was Lily's favorite. She spent all her time with him, and Lee didn't really get to know and spend time with her mom until she got sick. And with that, you see as she talks about her, even if it was kind of seeing her mom at her worst and not this bubbly, extroverted person that Ren has all these beautiful memories with, it helps you understand perhaps what this movie was aiming for both Lee and Ren in some ways, but really only Brittany Snow gets to really execute that. And to take note, yes, everybody grieves differently, but with the way this film is built up, I feel like Brittany Snow really got to deliver the type of emotions, maybe even a few tears from the audience that should be expected. Which leads us to the on-the-fence topic, which is when it comes to Darren and Rick, unfortunately, while Brittany Snow's delivering that dramatic acting, while Nick Jonas is romancing up Zoe, Alexandra Shipp, Darren and Rick's actors, they're comic relief, and unfortunately, they got the corniest jokes and moments that it just doesn't add much to the film. I mean, for Darren to start off, it seems almost every line is made to be a low-key joke that maybe may play to some audiences, but it all just feels so hokey and forced and unnatural in a way that you would hope an actor would push back on. And then when it comes to David Arquette as Rick, I'm not going to go in on David Arquette because I don't know him, and honestly, outside of the Scream franchise and probably a random role here and there, I don't know his filmography. If his name is on it, it's not a selling point to me, but At the same time, you have to recognize he has been in the business for 30 years, but I feel like when it comes to Rick, this was not a character written for him to really show off. And if anything, it kind of pushed the idea that maybe this man has some limitations, that after 30 years he probably wants to show that he can do more than what he's done, but I don't think between the writing and his performance that was executed in a way that was good for him. And this isn't to say that you now, after watching this, may have a negative opinion about David Arquette, but I'm definitely of the opinion that more could have been done with Rick to add some level of complication and not just make him kind of like a butthead. Yet they didn't take that route. David Arquette didn't tap into that really, so he's just an annoying husband to Lily who just takes away from what this film could have done. Overall, when it comes to the good half, it stumbles. The comedy is awkward, and yeah, it may tickle somebody's niche funny bone, but really the only highlight is Brittany Snow as Lee really going into her relationship with her mother in this, alongside Nick Jonas basically playing the heartthrob that he's been doing since he was a teenager. Outside of that, when it comes to Lee's exes, or Rick, who technically isn't an ex, just a widow, it's just the type of film that it mixes different tones in a way that just comes off very wrong, and it just feels like there's too many combative forces in one film that keep it from having a consistent vibe that allows you to feel things without it being interrupted by a bad joke by this character, a side quest by Nick Jonas's character to woo some girl. And I get that these people are supposed to have lives and things don't end just because Lily died, but it's something's off.